Hey guys, this is Bob Hickman. It is so good to be back with you. Well, I want to say thank you to all of you who came out to my recent video, Messages from the Spirit World. Well, I promised you we'd have a video about the spiral goddess. Before we get into that, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt the need to, kind of capture your spiritual views in a three-dimensional form or a two-dimensional form? Have you ever felt like you want an image of the divine, something that captures what you feel inside? Well, if you've ever felt like that, today's video is going to help you to do that. So keep on watching. The wonderful thing about this project is it's very simple and doesn't take any money or a lot of supplies. Anyways, what you want to do is get a little bit of craft paint here. I've got that. You can oftentimes buy that at the dollar store. I bought my paintbrushes also at the dollar store, as well as my scissors. You want some paint, some brushes, a pair of scissors, a marker, and some cardboard. Now, for my cardboard, I just took an old shoebox and broke it down. So I have a nice piece of cardboard here. That's all you need to start with your spiral goddess. The spiral goddess is a symbol that is seen in modern paganism. It originates out of the ancient pagan cultures. Anthropologists and archaeologists have found over the years that many of the ancient sites there have been images, very simple images that denote a goddess figure. So we're going to draw here on our cardboard. And again, this is just an old shoebox I broke up. We're going to draw the outline of our figure here. So if you've never seen a spiral goddess, this is one form of her. Now we're going to start here with the head. I like to start with that. That's kind of a nice focal point. Go down, taper down to a neck. And then the spiral goddess is oftentimes seen celebrating. So we want to scoop up here and create arms raised in joyous celebration. There's one arm. And here's another arm. The spiral goddess is not necessarily a very literal image. It's more of a figurative image, which means that it's a little bit abstract. So as you can see there, we've now got a head here with arms. And then we want to just start to form the body here. Just kind of move it down. Spiral goddess tends to have large hips. So we're going to elongate her hips here. And many times the spiral goddess tapers down to a point. As I said, this is a stylized image here. Now, one of the things is you can also, if you want, because we're going to probably stand this up and prop it up, we want to also build a stand here. So at the bottom, when you're making this, just kind of trace out a broader based area, kind of like a triangle. See how that is? So you want to have a flat edge here and see the goddess taper down. I probably should have done this before I started my drawing, but what you want to do next is trim away any excess cardboard so that you have an easier area to work in without so much distraction. So we've cut off the sides of this old shoebox. Now what we're left with is a simple piece of cardboard. So now what we want to do is trim along our perimeters. Be careful when you get up here because it's very thin and you don't want to snip off the head or chop off an arm. So I'm going to just begin here, and what I'm going to do is I'll start down here at the bottom and work our way around. So you can just follow your outline just gently. Sometimes it helps us to get rid of some of the extra cardboard as you go along. And that'll give you a smoother edge to start with. And you want to just follow that on around. what I usually do is get rid again of some excess cardboard. You can go back in a little while and fine tune it. Right now it's kind of like cutting out the major blockages, and then we'll do refining here in just a little while. As you can see, I'm now working on the arm area. This inner area is probably the hardest part of your goddess. If you have an X-Acto blade, you might have success. Of course, be very careful with that. But I'm working with scissors here, and you want to try to get cardboard that's not too thick. Luckily, that's why I suggest an old shoebox. They seem to have solid cardboard, but not too thick. So we're going to work on opening up this area here. Well, guys, I did exactly what I told you not to do. I got a little eager with my cutting, and I broke off the arm of the goddess. So I just got some tape. If you do that, it happens. Don't worry, the goddess isn't going to strike you dead. Just retape it up there. Now, as you can see, I have a form cut out of the goddess, so with the base at the bottom. The next thing that you want to do is just find some old newspaper around the house. You know, I'm all into recycling, so never throw anything away. Just put that down on your table, and then put your goddess cardboard piece here. Now we're going to take our craft paint. I've been shaking it up here so it's well mixed. And what you can do is just take your brush. You want to get a little maybe cup of water here. I find that wetting the brushes in the water helps a little bit. So just put your brush down in water, let it soak for a minute, and while that's soaking, pour out just a little bit of paint here. If you're fancy and have a painter's palette, that's great. If not, just use a piece of that cardboard. Another way to recycle. Now, taking our brush out of the water, just wipe off the excess, and we put some paint here on our little cardboard palette. You can just dip your brush in. Now, I'm using silver paint because I love silver, and I'm going to make this a goddess in silver to honor the moon. But you can do any color that you like. I've seen many of these goddesses done in beautiful shades of purple. I've seen them done in blue. So what you want to do is just begin to paint your cardboard. So I'm just going to start a first layer here of silver around my goddess. Just follow that on around. The wonderful thing is, because we're dealing with an image that is ancient, you don't have to necessarily have super refined painting. You can make it a little bit rustic if you want. I'm going to go ahead here and just paint this form. Now down at the bottom here, you'll notice we've left it tapered. Now, you don't have to do that, but I'm going to go back and refine this area a little later. And I'm going to paint probably in the future stand a different color here. But just go ahead and for the moment just start by putting on a layer here of paint. Depending on the type of cardboard that you have, it may take a few layers, but that's okay. Just keep your paint nearby. Now you can make these cardboard goddesses really any size that you want. If you have a big box like an appliance box, a television box, or refrigerator box, you could even make a giant goddess that you could stand up in your room. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Talk about a home temple, huh? Life-size goddess. We're going to just work here, just painting. I'm painting over the black, so we don't need those lines anymore. Just let your spirit lead you as you paint. You know, I've seen goddesses also done in beautiful shades of green and blue. think about how you relate to the goddess and let that inspire you and paint from that place of creativity. Now, as you can see here, we have painted our goddess in a lovely shade of silver. Now, if you want, you can also paint the backside. I'm not going to paint this one today on the backside, but I have seen people who have been ultra economical. And what you could even do is paint one side one color with one style, and then paint the back a different color. That way you could actually have kind of two different goddesses out of the same piece of cardboard. So there's an option as well if you want to be super environmentally friendly. Anyways, with this the goddess is still a little damp, so we're going to let that just sit up here for a little while, and then we'll come back to it in just a few. Now, as I was saying, I wanted to make my stand a little different, so the rest of the goddess is still drying, but now's a good time while it's almost dry, just to kind of trace that edge again, just to refine it down to an elegant point. And today I'm just going to color in my base with black marker. You can use paint. I left my black paint at home, but this is such a nice rich ink that I think it's lovely. Now you could also, for example, paint your base in green to be like the green grass. That would be beautiful. Or like rocks or crystalline structure. Depends on how artistic you want to get. I always say let the goddess inspire you. Because this goddess, I'm relating to her as a lunar aspect spiral goddess, I think black and silver are working. But again, you can have any colors that you want. So we'll just color in that base. Just take your time. Let your work on the goddess be a meditation, a time to commune with the divine. I'll come around this side here. There we go. Just going to fill in that wonderful little base. Just take your time, meditate. Think about the goddess's role in your life. Maybe you're still trying to understand that mystery. I think all of us are. As we work on creating our goddess images, we can find relaxation, deep meditation. You know, it's the goddess who's created with, who's attributed to inspiring artistic creativity as well. Because from her all life comes, all creation. She herself, the goddess, is an artist. Look at that base. That looks beautiful. What do you think of that, guys? Very nice. Notice how the goddess tapers down. Very, very elegant. Very elegant. Well, it looks like our paint has set up here, and we're ready for our next stage of decoration. One of the things that you'll see here is on the goddess, there are many different ways to do the spiral goddess. Some people like to create the spiral here down at the womb, that is traditional, and some like to create the spiral in the heart. I actually have also seen goddesses with two spirals, and today I'm actually going to do two spirals because I think that the goddess not only creates from the womb, and we have a saying that all life comes from her, but it's that love that brings that life into reality. So I think we want to honor the creative spirit of the spiral in the heart as well as in the womb. Anyway, so using our Sharpie, I'm going to just start here. I'm going to start a little spiral. Look at that. Just take your time. Meditate on the heart of the goddess as you create that beautiful spiral. Just let it flow down. know if you guys can see that. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? Then we're going to follow that down. This is the womb area. And we're going to make a beautiful spiral here. Just let that circle on around. Meditate on the goddess creating life. Some people like to then extend that down like a ray of light going down to the earth. You can make your spiral goddess as elaborate or as simple as you want. I'm going to keep this one simple. The first spiral goddesses I ever saw were very simple, and it was that simplicity that drew me to them. Now, you can put crescent moons on your goddess, you know, anything that you want, but I'm going to keep it very, very simple. Now, since I'm not painting the back side of this goddess, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more support for its stand. Now, to make the stands very simple, just cut a small strip of cardboard. I took this off the shoebox, and then about a quarter of the way down, bend it at a 90-degree angle. And then what you want to do is just take that shorter part, the top part, just tape that on the back. Just let that, just let that tape adhere. I'm going to trim off a little bit of the extra here. Trim off the extra tape. Smooth down the edges. And you now have a stand. And you can now prop up your goddess. Put your stand on. Then you can prop up your goddess. There we have our beautiful spiral goddess. So there you go, guys. Now you have a little statue for your altar. And you see, you didn't have to spend a lot of money, and it's very simple, but it's very beautiful. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful for you. Listen, tell me, give me some comments in the box below, give me thumbs up, and answer my question. Have you ever worked with the spiral goddess? Have you ever made one? Have you ever seen one? Do you use the spiral goddess? If you haven't, that's okay. Tell me about that. Maybe you want to explore this, and if there are those of you who have a spiral goddess, maybe you'll share a video response. And if you make one of these, maybe you'll show your spiral goddess to me. I'd love to post some responses to this. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here at Spirit Channel. I'm so honored that you took the time to come here and to be with us. So, listen, comments in the box below, thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe. We'd love you to be here. We got a lot of wonderful projects coming up, and we're going to keep teaching and exploring the mysteries of spirit. So anyways, thanks for being here. Hope to hear from all of you. Blessed be.